video. If you are new to my channel, my name is Steph and I am a first time mum from New Zealand. My son Charlie is currently 14 months old and I really wanted to create a video that shared all of the mum hacks, the little tips and tricks that I use every day that I've learned in the past 14 months. I just want to quickly note though that some of these tips, some of these hacks are going to be super useful for some of you guys and will work for some of you guys, and then they might not work for some of you, and that is totally fine. Parenting is like a very unique thing. I don't think there is a specific way that you have to parent. It's going to be different for everyone. So yeah, I just quickly wanted to point that out, because if these tips don't work for you, then don't worry, I'm sure that something else will. I'm going to jump straight into this video. Charlie is sleeping, so I am planning to get this done before he wakes up. My first hack is something that I always start my day with, and that is to schedule my day. And it may sound really simple, and it is honestly that simple, but I can promise you that if you schedule out your day, things will get easier. This is definitely a hack that will not work for everyone, as some people's child is more lenient to a flexible routine. However, my son Charlie thrives off routine. He has a very fine line between being tired and overtired. So I am definitely one of those mums that has to count his awake windows and make sure that he is sleeping after his awake window. Otherwise, it is the end of the world. Trust me, I'm asking for a disaster if I keep him awake for longer than his awake window. So I definitely find it super helpful every morning to write my schedule out. I'll write out what time he wakes up, what time his second nap is, his third nap, what I need to do in between, and then that way I'm just making sure that I get everything done. One thing that I've been doing every Monday, which I find so amazing, and if you're not doing this, I highly suggest trying it, and that is a toy rotation. The reason why I do toy rotation is because if there is too many toys in front of Charlie, he just gets like overwhelmed and ends up playing with none of them. He also gets bored of his toys way faster if they're all in front of him. So if you rotate them on a weekly basis, it's like Christmas all over again. Like, he goes to his playroom, he's got all these new toys, it's exciting, he'll play with them for like 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes that you have to yourself. Like, honestly, try toy rotation if you haven't already. It is a really good way to just bring out new toys and not have to rebuy new toys. The next thing that I want to suggest is having an activity list somewhere in your notebook, your diary, just somewhere where you can easily access. I have a whole activity list for rainy days, for if I just don't know what to do. There are some days where they're just a little bit harder than others. Like, honestly, if you're a mum, you can relate with me, where some days you're definitely looking at the time being like, when is my toddler going to bed? Because I just need a break. And that's okay. There are just days where we don't know what to do. And so having a list of activities and things that you can go back to and look at ideas of what to do will be super helpful for those type of days. They don't need to be like huge extravagant activities. They can be as simple as going to the beach and finding shells and rocks. Talking about beaches, this is leading me to my next hack, my next little tip, which I love. I find this one super amazing. This is really for those summer days, especially for my New Zealand mums watching this, because we are in summer right now, and that is to use a makeup sponge when applying sunblock on your little one's face. We're out and about every day, and the New Zealand sun is super harsh, so it's really important that I always remember to put sunblock, and I just like an easier way to apply sunblock to his face, because otherwise he doesn't want sunblock on his face. So a beauty sponge has really saved us in that department. My next hacks is going to be all about cars and traveling. I've always had a little bit of anxiety when going into the car with Charlie. I always find it really stressful. He cries a lot. It's something he didn't like for a very long time. So I have learned to always have some specific toys in the car that is specific to car rides and something that he doesn't play with every day. I know that a lot of mums don't like battery toys, but honestly I find that these work the best in the cars because they do distract him. A toy that he can press the button and it's going to sing to him, it's got music, that personally works best for Charlie. My next hack for cars is to always have a diaper caddy in the boot. Always have a spare outfit in there, diapers, wipes, a changing mat. It's actually quite surprising the amount of times I've left my house without my diaper bag and then he has a blowout. We go to the beach and he gets soaking wet. Something happens, he needs a new outfit. It is just life-saving to have one in the boot of your car, and it's just kind of like a peace of mind knowing that you've got that there. This is a really nice hack and a really nice little tip that I have really started to do with my toddler since Charlie has started walking. He's so intelligent. Toddlers are so smart. They definitely are more aware of things, and something that you can start doing with them is introducing them to your everyday chores and involving them in your everyday chores. Charlie loves to help me put up the laundry, and something else that we always do at the end of the day is clean up his room and put his toys away, so we have a little clean up song. Clean up, everybody everywhere. Clean up, everybody do your share. Good boy. Clean up, everybody everywhere. Clean up, everybody do your share. Good job! Thanks for helping. This is a song that they use at daycare in New Zealand. Jamie learnt this from his younger siblings. Charlie doesn't go to daycare, but he learned this from his younger siblings, so I'm sure that if your child goes to daycare, you've probably heard the song or something similar to it. I don't know if we're actually singing it right. Also don't have the best singing voice, sorry about that. But yeah, it's just something that kind of cues them, and every time they'll hear that song, they know that it's clean up. Eventually they're going to copy you and they will clean up with you. Personally, I just think that teaching your little one to clean up after themselves is a pretty important skill. My next hack is for any mums that have a toddler or any mums that have a child who is starting to have tantrums. I call it my 3-step tantrum routine. I can definitely understand if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed with those tantrums. Charlie started at 8 months, like full on meltdown tantrums, rolling on the floor screaming. Not too sure if that's normal or if that's just my child, but anyway, 8 months, he's now 14 months. I've had 8 months to try and kind of like figure out a routine that works for him, and I just thought, hey, if it works for Charlie, it might work for some of you guys. So my 3-step tantrum routine is, once he's having a meltdown, I will sit down with him. I always sit down with him, make sure that he's aware that I'm with him. I'm not going to leave him. I don't ignore him. I just sit there. I don't do anything. I don't react to the situation. I just sit there and be with him. Once he is a little bit more calmed down, I'll pick him up and change scenery. Usually the tantrums happens inside the house, so I'll walk outside. Fresh air is just going to calm them down. Change of scenery will calm them down. And then my 3rd step is I talk to him. I talk to him like he's a grown-up adult. I explain to him what has happened, why I may have done what I've done, why he may have acted the way he's acted. And then there we go. We end that and we continue with our day. Alright, my last 2 hacks are going to be for the bed nighttime situation. The first one being having a nighttime routine, and then specifically having a nighttime song. Very much like the song that I talked about, teaching them to clean up after themselves. Having a bedtime song is going to cue them for bedtime. I had a huge difficulty with Charlie sleeping through the night. Just so many issues and so much anxiety build up with nighttime. I find that having a nighttime routine and having a nighttime song just lets him know that it is bedtime. We do the same thing for every night. We have a bath, we have a bottle, we clean up, we read a story, we close the curtains, and then we have our nighttime song, and then he goes to sleep. He knows his nighttime song. He does the actions with us. He'll close his eyes after. He knows it is bedtime with a bedtime song. Highly recommend trying that out if you haven't already. And then the next hack that I suggest that you try for like a bedtime and all that is having a comforter or something for your little one just to help them get comfort. Again, this will probably not work for everyone, but something that I did with Charlie very early on. I slept trained him at 7 months, so this was probably at 6 months old. I had about 5 teddies, maybe 6, and so I just kind of laid them all out in front of him. He had his 6 teddies in front of him, and I put him all the way at the back. He could crawl, and I let him crawl to the teddy that he wanted. he picked out this one specific teddy and I was like, okay, let's try that again. And I mixed up all the teddies, put him back again, and he went to that exact teddy again, even though it was in a different spot. So to me, I was like, that is the teddy that you want. And then I made him more attached to that teddy. I always fed him. He was a breastfeed, so I would always feed him with the teddy like just there. I put a bit of breast milk on it. I had it in my shirt so it smelled like me. Now he's obsessed with that teddy. One thing that I'll quickly suggest is make sure that you have toys that you can get multiples of. Don't get like a unique piece because you're gonna need more than one. I was very lucky that for Charlie I have this one toy and I was able to introduce similar ones that don't look exactly the same and they're not the same size, but for him it was enough to kind of give him that comfort overall. So yeah, just make sure you get more than one because you might lose it and then that would not be good at all. Definitely get more than one. And there we go, that is my 10 everyday mum hacks that I've been using for the last 14 months that have really helped me, and hopefully they can help you. Let me know if you guys have tried any of those out, or let me know if you have any mum hacks that you're like, oh my god, love this. Steph, you have to try it down. Pop it down below because I'll probably try it. Most likely 100% will try it. I'm all about mum hacks and just making life a little bit easier. Anyway, as always guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it because it really supports my channel, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye!